Well, welcome back to the Ohio Valley Conference Media Day here in Evansville, Indiana. We're at the DoubleTree Hotel, and we have the USI contingent with us. It's head coach Stan Gouard and Devin Curtis over there, and we'll get to know both of them as we process through this. Stan, you guys have had an interesting journey in the OVC.
Yes.
And so I'm just wondering, after a couple of years now, how do you see your spot there? It's been a little bit of a journey.
Yeah, it has, and rightfully so. We make the transition from Division II to Division I, and wasn't playing nothing, playing for anything from a postseason standpoint.
Right.
And it made it hard to get, the right guys in and get guys to commit to something where they're not playing for anything but a regular season and a conference tournament. Here we are now. Our administration has done a wonderful job of expediting the process and getting us to a point now where we can probably play in the postseason if we do our part. And you'll see here going forward, I think we'll get some better players in and some guys that, we're playing for something now. So I think that makes the journey a whole lot better.
I haven't been everywhere in the OVC, but your arena has to be the best arena in the OVC.
I think so.
I have been there, and I thought,
right.
Yikes, this is an amazing
We're
place.
Fortunate, and I think our guys, they don't realize till they get here how nice it really is. We have the best of both worlds with, the new $69, $70 million venue, new locker rooms with fingerprint access, the weight room, the film room, the pack, so we're very fortunate. We have a nutrition station, right there on campus inside our locker room. We have everything for success, that for success right in front of us. We just have to do a great job of taking advantage of it.
Such a great place. Devin, why number 13?
Just been my number since middle school, really. Came in middle school to high school, transferred in, played JV. And that was the first number I got, and 13 just kind of stuck with me. I just like Paul George. And then James Harden was like, why you pick, as a kid, you like 32 or 24. Like, why'd you pick it? I was just, those two were great players at the time, especially James Harden being on the Rockets. And then 13 just stuck with me. Now it's my brand.
Tell me how you ended up at Southern Indiana and why you ended up at Southern Indiana.
How was with, of course, entering the transfer portal. And then I got a connection from my coach, my high school coach, Coach Pookie Wigington, connecting me with Stan. And then why it was just everything aligned with my goals. Coach Stan, I told Coach Stan what my goal was, to be a defensive anchor and kind of be just really try to win DPOY, which is a hard goal, but I feel like it's achievable with the trust he's instilling in me. And then as well as that's really why, just being a great coach and everything aligned.
Nobody wants to come be the defensive player of the year. Come on. I mean, like who appeals to the coach and says, I want to play defense?
I'm sure in the back of his mind, he wants to score a few points as well. But he's been doing a wonderful job as of late of protecting the rim. Just piggybacking on, I don't think Devin knows this, but when I first made the recruiting call to him, I'm talking with his dad on the phone. I was in Georgia talking to his dad on the phone in the hotel lobby. And we started, connecting the dots. And his dad coached one of my former players in China, Darius Adams. And I told his dad that I would call Darius and have those two guys talking on my behalf. And, his guy Pookie and then my friend out in California, kind of knew Pookie, and that's how the connection. But we're very fortunate, man. He came from Cal a year ago. And we're very fortunate to have a guy of his caliber. He could have, went a couple of different places, but we were fortunate he landed here at USI, and we got to, maximize his potential with the things we do every day.
You talked about all those different names, and I don't know any of those people, but relationships really is what makes basketball work, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's amazing when you start talking to, potential recruits or current players. You're going to find somebody down the pipeline that that somebody in his camp knows. And that's how all this transpired. We just kept trying to connect the dots. And Brandon Titus, that's who the guy was who knew his coach, and there's a connection. We have a new guy on staff right now, Kevin Missouri, who's also good friends with Brandon Titus. But this basketball journey, takes you to places and connections with people that you never thought you'd never know. And we're very fortunate to be doing what we do. And I'm sure these guys don't appreciate it right now, and see the big picture. But, and about when they become my age, they'll understand how important this journey was to get them to a certain point in life.
Yeah, no kidding. Devin, you mentioned the defensive side. So obviously you've got to focus on that. Talk about your game though. Will people be reminded of Paul George, number 13, or will it be somebody else? Is there something that you could describe as this is kind of my game?
I would say it's not as skilled as Paul George. I would say Paul George is a unicorn in his own, 6'8", can handle the ball. I would say my game is more of I'm trying to be I ain't trying to I would say like an Evans Mobley, really. A guy he just won Defensive Player of the Year. So I'll say like an Evan Mobley, somebody that can guard, help the guards, especially getting around screens, and then when it's time, you got the ball, he makes a play. If he's open, hit the three. And if he's in the post, get a hook, like Coach been saying. Hit down your jumpers, but really as well, just the emphasis on the defensive side. So that's what I say.
Tell me about the personality of this team, the makeup of this team. What's the feel like amongst the players?
Gritty, I would say. Our team feels really gritty. We all have a common goal and wanting to win, and just feel like that's our factor. We say it a lot. Now we got to implement it and back up our words. And when it comes to that time, we got to be ready. Ready if we get punched, we got to be ready to actually take a punch and give one back when it's time.
So many new players on your roster.
Yes.
And I don't know the preseason poll. I have it written down here somewhere. They got you 9th, I think.
That's great bulletin board material.
I've been telling people for weeks, like I'm a dime store expert, right?
Right.
You know, I look at internet things and I try to know stuff. But I've been telling people for weeks. I said, USI is going to be the surprise team in the OVC, based on everything I've been able to try to dig through and find out about Devin and other players. I think you have like a very unique blend of some talented players coming there.
We do. That 9 is great bulletin board material, and they heard it yesterday in practice before the polls got released because we had a moment in practice. We look good on paper. I call it paper champs, but you have to go out and put it all together. You've been around us a long time like I have, and we have all the talent in the world. We have guys that can score. We have guys that can shoot it. We have guys like Devin that can defend. We have a lot of different pieces, but now it's all got to come together. It takes a while for it all to blend together. We've been together since June 8th, I think it has been. But everything takes time. I got to have a little bit of patience here to see it all come to light, but I'm a very impatient guy. We struggled the past 2 years, and I want things to happen now. But in my old age, I have to understand that, like the great Sue Willie always told me when I was at UND, Rome wasn't built in one day. And I have to, tell myself that sometime that in practice that everything we have takes time. And we, like I said, 12 new guys trying to find the right combinations, the right pieces. Guys are going to go out and do what's expected on a daily basis. But, I don't tell these guys enough. I think we are working hard. Do I want to work harder? Absolutely. Do I want to play faster? Absolutely. But again, we got to squeeze out of these guys what we can squeeze out of them, and then just try to get better every single day.
And do we have a bleacher leap coming sometime this summer? But protect the knees.
No. I just fractured. I fractured my fibula in practice.
No kidding.
Yeah. Trey Smith rather took me out in practice. I took a charge the wrong way, and took me out. And,
sorry to bring that up.
That's okay. I will leap though. If we start winning some ball games. They put a rail up there. For me.
They did.
I can get over the rail, man. I think I had about a 2-inch vertical, but
there you go.
I can do a Lambo leap.
There you go.
Like the Packers, but I'll dive in.
Well, while on that topic, your thoughts about Coach Pearl retiring?
Man, too soon. But I respect the heck out of Coach Pearl, as you know, and what he's accomplished here in Southern Indiana, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Tennessee, and here at Auburn. He's won everywhere he's been, and he deserves every ounce of credit he's getting right now for what he's done as a coach, as a person, and now as he's the ambassador for Auburn University. And to get his son, Stephen, that opportunity, it's something I'd do in a heartbeat if I had a kid that wanted to be, wanted to go into coaching. But I cannot say enough great things about what he's done, but he deserves it. Everybody knows when it's their time, and was listening to a podcast last night with he and Dan Dockich, and he talked about some of the things that made him make his decision right now, because he initially told me it's going to be next year.
Oh, really?
Not this year. And it's funny, I was texting him the morning of when it all happened, and he didn't mention it because he was busy trying to retire, make the announcement rather. A few hours later, I get a message that he's out. Then I text him like, "What the heck, coach?"
You lied.
Yeah, no, it ain't that he lied. He's a very private person,
Sure.
and I get it. He didn't want it leaked out,
Mm-hmm.
and but I'm happy for him, happy for his family. He wants to spend more time with his grandkids and watch his son prosper in the role that he was in, and like he said in that podcast, he wants to start taking time to do things before his body starts ailing.
Sure.
And I think that's a long time from now because he's taking care of himself. But congratulations to Coach on a great career, but more importantly, the next chapter in his life.
Is that amazing career? Devin, talk about all these new guys, and so we don't know any of them, right?
I don't either.
But tell me about a guy or two that have stood out to you. Said, "Oh, by the end of the year, people are going to be talking about this guy."
I would say
outside of yourself. There you go.
I would say outside of myself. I'll say Coach. Been seeing me with him. It was two peas in the pod. It was Trey Thomas. My guy. We just been in the lab 24/7. Just kind of had the same mindset coming in. Just wanted to work and get better. Not much about what's on the stat sheet. Just getting better as a player and better as a person as well. Just sticking with that dedication. And I feel like seeing where his headspace is, just we pushing each other. He pushes me, I push him just as hard. And I would say if anybody to keep watch on, it would be Trey.
See, I'm asking questions because people out there want to know, but I need to know, right? I got to learn things here.
Yes.
When you think about playing for him, what kind of thoughts does that conjure up in your mind?
Run the floor, toughness, and defense. Really, that's the main three things that sticks out. That's all he preaches in practice. As long as we run the floor and we guard and stay disciplined, we don't have to hear anything from him. We don't have to get on that line. But I'll say everything else just play smooth. Just have energy and effort. That's really all it is.
When you had a great playing career as well, and like you said, you took a charge wrong the other day. How can you relate those experiences, help those guys with your own playing experiences?
Yeah, I do. I don't often say this, but I tell these guys, like, I have a different appreciation for Southern Indiana than these guys do, because I played there. We won 82 games there as a player. My wife graduated there, and it's just different for me. And to walk in that building every day, to see my face on the wall, my name in the record books, it's added pressure. But it's pressure that I embrace every single day. And that's why I'm so passionate about not just what I do, but just doing it the right way. And I don't talk much about my playing career with these guys, but I just try to put myself in their shoes sometimes, and I try to use some of the experiences I've had under coaches like Coach Pearl when I played here, Kevin McKenna when I was at Indiana State, Royce Waltman, Todd Sturgeon, and those guys, Coach Curtis, all the guys who I worked for or played for. Tom Ashman, I played for at John A. So oftentimes when I'm thinking about certain situations, I kind of can shift myself to a player and think, okay, what do I want to see? How do I want this day to go? And what motivates me to be better? And oftentimes it's me raising my voice and making a run. Oftentimes it's conversation in this tone right here. It's just different. Coach Pearl once said, you can't treat every person the same, but you treat them all fair. Every player can't take you jumping on them a little bit. Every player can't take this kind of conversation. So you have to learn your guys right away and see what pushes their buttons and motivates those guys to get to the next level. And that's our goal as a coaches, is getting these guys to a different level of play, to better our team. And I found my niche with some guys, still trying to figure a couple guys out. But, we challenge each other every day and try to make each other better, because I think if we keep doing that, we can cross the finish line in a good place. And like everybody who's sat in this seat, everybody's end goal is to play in March and play deep in March.
And play deep across the street and cut down those nets.
Exactly. And I bought it when I pulled up today. I said, this is where the conference tournament is. So sniff the air, sniff the air, man, and know what it feels like and smells like. So that way we can come back here and do it in March with some other teams.
Love that. Final question. Major influences in your life. Who are those people? Or maybe it's one or two people.
For sure, my parents. I would say those two always had my back, just keeping me disciplined. I've seen how they raised me and the discipline and courage they took and the way they're instilling me, that they know the talent I have and they put good knowledge into me, so they know that I'm a good kid, I would say. So they want me to be the best for not only for myself but the people around me, being a good influence, and that's pretty much it, really. Just both my parents.
Appreciate your time. Best of luck to both of you.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks for the time.